Good Tuesday afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. Right now, polls are open in the North Metro for a primary election to fill the late Melissa Hortman's House seat in District 34B. There are three candidates on the DFL side: current Brooklyn Park City Council member Christian Erickson, former Brooklyn Park City Council member Shai Lee, and Hennepin County Prosecutor Erickson Say. The lone Republican is Realtor Ruth Bittner, who will face the winner of today's primary in the general election. The district, though, is heavily blue, covering parts of Brooklyn Park, stretching up into Anoka County. Former Speaker Hortman was a DFL party leader, and you may remember earlier this year, the parties ended up tied in the House 67-67, which led to a power-sharing agreement. This primary and the special election to follow on September 16th will determine if those tied-up margins will continue. Voting, by the way, ends at 8 o'clock tonight. In St. Paul, residents in Ward 4 will elect a new city council person today. 4 people are running for the spot left open by former St. Paul City Council President Maitra Jalali, who resigned earlier this year to focus on her mental and physical health. New details coming out today about that cyber attack in St. Paul that took the city services offline for 2 weeks. The city confirming who's behind the attack, that they did demand a ransom, and that the stolen data was posted online. Jennifer Hoff has the details of who's behind that attack and the impact that it is having on our capital city.
Sunlight may shine over St. Paul, but the dark web is taking over too.
We detected this intrusion on July 25th.
Mayor Melvin Carter confirming today the ransomware group Interlock attacked the city 2 weeks ago that even ethical hackers know well, like Ian Coldwater.
Interlock specifically is opportunistic and financially motivated. They will kind of cast a wider net, see what they can find, and in this case, they found St. Paul.
Coldwater says it uses a notable technique called double extortion, not only stealing data, but then encrypting it too, increasing the pressure to pay a ransom.
So they'll be like, well, you can pay and get your data back, but you should also know that we have your data.
I'm happy to take any questions.
Carter not revealing the ransom cost, only that the city refused to pay it. Interlock then publicly posted data primarily from the Parks and Rec Department, including work documents, copies of IDs, and even recipes, totaling 43 gigabytes, or what you might use in a month to surf the web and check email.
It reminds me of any kidnapping movie anybody has seen, where the first step is to provide what they call proof of life. Instead of demonstrating what they had, decided to end the conversation, which was an indication to us that they may not have thought that they had much by way of value.
The city says it still has full access to all its data. Many of its services, though, still offline, like internet at libraries and pools, as thousands of employees are required to now reset their passwords to keep that darkness from creeping in.
It's not just you. Lots of cities have been targeted. Lots of users have been targeted.
A heads up for anyone needing to take a road test at a Twin Cities Metro DMV. The Arden Hills exam station will close because of road work starting on September 1st. The Department of Public Safety says it will last until late October. In the meantime, the department said it will increase appointments for road test exams at nearby stations. Today, we are learning more about the incident at Tetaguchi State Park, where a Twin Cities man died after jumping off the high falls. The Lake County Sheriff's Office said the man jumped off the 63 feet tall waterfall into the Baptism River, but did not resurface. Minnesota Department of Natural Resources deployed an underwater robot, and the victim's body was recovered about 2 hours later. Authorities say the man was 54 years old, but are withholding further information until the family can be notified. New this afternoon, we just got a mugshot of the man police say shot and killed 3 people in Austin, Texas in a parking lot in broad daylight. Investigators say Ethan Neinecker was also the man who stole 2 vehicles when trying to evade police after that shooting. So far, charges against him have not been filed, but police have said he struggled previously with mental illness. Right now, a motive for that shooting is still not clear. In the last 24 hours, the man whose conviction was overturned in the murder case of a Minneapolis North student appeared in court ahead of his retrial. Cody Forencam was already convicted of second-degree murder, but an appeals court ruled that videotaped statements he made to police were inadmissible and tossed his conviction. Ahead of the November retrial, Lou Ragoose explains this time around prosecutors could have even less to work with.
The mother of murdered star student athlete Deshaun Hill is tired of courtrooms, to say the least.
This right here it's just starting it all over again. It's all the emotions just coming right back.
But when Cody Forencamp, the man already convicted once of murdering Dee Hill, stands trial again in November, Tuesday Shepherd says she and her family will be there.
Yep, and the ones that couldn't be here, they still here with us in spirit.
The Minnesota Court of Appeals overturned Forencamp's conviction over an issue with his police interrogation. On that tape, Forencamp puts himself near the murder scene and changes his story repeatedly. It was an incriminating piece of evidence in the first trial. The appeals court says it can only be shown to a jury if an officer testifies that there was already enough evidence to arrest Forencamp when the interview started. But now, Judge Julie Allen won't let prosecutors hold the hearing necessary for the officer to do that. The appeals court will decide soon whether she should hold that hearing. Otherwise, Forencamp's second trial will not include that evidence.
For him to say he didn't kill him still, it's crazy. Everybody's seen it on camera.
His defense attorneys are also asking Judge Allen to toss out the photo lineup where witnesses who saw the gunman in distinct red sweatpants picked out Forencamp. All important issues for the criminal case, but exhausting for the victim's family.
I'm hurt. I'm trying to grieve. He's playing with my family. He's playing with us. He just needs to go sit down, do his time. He know he killed him. And just go to jail. Do your 40 years.
Today, a Twin Cities teen is facing criminal vehicular homicide charges after a crash that killed an 11-year-old girl. The incident happened in February in Independence at the intersection of County Road 6 and 110. Charges say 18-year-old Connor Iverson was using his phone when he sped through a stop sign and crashed into an SUV. 6 people were in that vehicle. One of them was Liliana Locano, who died after the accident at the hospital. Currently, Iverson is in jail on a string of other crimes, including allegedly stabbing someone in Golden Valley 2 days after that crash. Happening right now, Elon Musk is threatening to take legal action against Apple, claiming it allegedly violated antitrust laws. Musk said that Apple is keeping his company's artificial intelligence app, Grok, low in the rankings on the Apple App Store. The tech giant wrote on his X page that Apple makes it impossible for any other app to be ranked above ChatGPT, ChatGPT, the OpenAI product, which is currently #1 on the top free apps section. Musk alleged that Apple is playing politics when it comes to ranking AI apps and said that his company will take immediate legal action. Today, the National Guard troops arrive at Washington, D.C.'s Armory after President Trump announced the federal takeover of the Capitol on Monday morning. It is a move Trump says is needed to tackle violent crime that is out of control. But those who follow the numbers say they don't understand the president's argument. Ken Erdahl has more.
This morning, President Trump declared a public safety emergency in Washington, D.C., with plans to federalize the police, at least temporarily.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
But one person who tracks that crime and bloodshed is confused.
I certainly have questions. This doesn't seem to match what that data is showing us.
Jillian Peterson is a professor of criminology at Hamlin and executive director of the Violence Prevention Project, which is dedicated to reducing violence through research. According to DOJ research, violent crime in D.C. hit a 30-year low last year. And today, D.C. Metro Police stated it's fallen another 26% this year. Peterson says that fits a wider trend. An FBI report just released last week found violent crime fell nationwide, including a nearly 15% drop in the murder rate, continuing a steady downward trend they've followed since those stats spiked between 2020 and 2022.
What we've been doing at our research center is really focusing on what caused that spike. Because if you understand what caused the spike, then you understand how to bring it down and why it's coming down.
She says that research found that the upending of life during the pandemic, followed by unrest after the murder of George Floyd, led to instability and crime.
Now we're seeing all those things being put back into place with school and work, all those things that connect us, religious organizations, and changes in policing. And so it's hard to say exactly what it is, but it seems to be working. We truly are coming back down.
But the White House contends it's not enough, asserting today that D.C. still had the 4th highest homicide rate in the country last year. And the president isn't ruling out a similar response in other cities.
We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick. very quickly, as they say.
We really need federal data. We need federal research. Federal firearm tracking would be amazing. We just have such a lack of federal data. So it's really hard to know what's working, what's not working. It's unclear here why we're using these resources in this way at this moment, especially with this huge report coming out last week saying we're at record lows in terms of violent crime in this country.
During his press conference, President Trump suggested a similar approach could be used in other big cities across the U.S. Here is what the mayor of Chicago had to say.
Though we take these threats seriously, we will not bow down or succumb to his tyrant rage.
Happening today, the U.S. and China are pushing back the self-imposed deadline to reach a trade deal. The tariffs on Chinese imports were supposed to rise to 54%, but an executive order signed by President Trump last night will keep that rate at 30%, at least for now. Meanwhile, China confirms its duties on U.S. imports will stay at 10%. The tariff amounts will remain in place for another 90 days as negotiations continue before the new deadline, which is now November 10th. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.